Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sounds of Stadia podcast, episode number 104. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, myself, Chris, and my lovely co-host, the man of many pixels.
Hello there.
Bring you all the Stadia and gaming news rounded up into an hour or so conversational podcast here on the Helix Cloud Games channel. If you do like what you see, don't forget to like the video and click on the bell down below and subscribe to the channel so you're kept in the loop with all of the Stadia content we bring you here from Helix Cloud Games. We do Let's Plays, first looks, live streams, live reactions. We recently watched the THQ Nordic showcase in the hope of some Stadia news. But before we dive into all that, bit of an update. We've got a great show lined up for you this week for episode 104. We're going to be talking about all of the new games that arrived, some stealth drops, some we knew about, but more importantly, games. We are going to be reviewing the THQ Nordic showcase from a Stadia lens and what was good and what was bad about it. We'll dive into all that. A potential, Richie, I'm going to tease it here, Battlefield 2042 update. Now, I'm not saying anything's set in stone. It's all rumours. However, I want to relate it back to a story we had last year in relating to Cyberpunk, so we'll get into all that. All of the other news, especially deals for Stadia Pro members, or should I say Stadia Pro cancelled members, we'll be getting into all that. We've got a great show, like I said. But before we dive into that, Richie, man of many pixels, how are you doing this week? We've spent some time together this Thursday, Friday, and now Sunday's time of recording. How have you been in between shows?
I've been quite well. I rolled credits to Miles Morales last night.
Well done. Enjoy it?
And you got I really did. It's a bit shorter than the original, the Spider-Man for PS4. I know. I'm looking forward to this afternoon jumping back into start work cleaning up some of them trophies and some of the stuff I hadn't done. I didn't do many like the combat challenges or anything. I just kind of skipped them. Yeah,
you can always wait to them to the end and enjoy the story. And I do need to ask, for the sake of our audience, how was your car? You got a car MOT'd, failed its MOT. Give me the update. How's it going?
There isn't really much of an update apart from the fact that I still don't have my car back yet.
Oh no.
So I was a little bit annoyed with the garage because when I was in there on Friday, they said, okay, there's a few things that we need to do to get through to MOT. It's like, fine, no bother. I was like, will it be done tomorrow? Yes. It'll be done by 1 o'clock, which is when the servicing team clock off for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And it was about 12:15 yesterday.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a phone call yet. The garage is about half an hour walk away from my house.
Yeah.
So I just set off walking in the hope I'd get a call en route. I got there. Apparently the clock off at 12:30.
Yeah.
And I still don't have my car. So I walked half an hour there and half an hour back for no reason.
So as a question then, as a follow-up, how are you getting to work in the morning?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, just what you want to start your week.
My parents don't live that far away.
Oh, is it going to be mum and dad on the phone?
It is. It's going to be a mum and dad job.
Well, there we go. That's what parents are for, to rely on them when they need us to. Yeah. How about Stadia games? We've obviously, you and me, doing a Let's Play series currently for Life is Strange True Colours. We've done episode 3, part 3, chapter 3. It's up now, available on the channel, youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games. If you've caught up yourself of chapter 3. We're having a great time so far.
I know, I'm looking forward to it. I wish we had more time to actually stream more often so we could get through the game a bit more.
Yeah, that is true. But we will be back this Thursday for our chapter 4. I believe the game only compromises of 5 chapters, so we are nearing the end of our journey now. And we'd encourage you all to go check it out. It's very great, very story heavy, as we expect from any Life is Strange title. But yeah, game runs beautifully, the story's great. This last chapter was a bit more about getting to know the characters a little bit deeper. With some fun twists, as usual. We enjoyed that. Yep. And what else did we do? This Friday, aside from the THQ Nordics, you and me also jumped into the exclusive demo that dropped on Stadia, but we'll talk about that when we get to it in the news. I feel like we'll keep it for that.
On Saturday, there was the first look of Merek's Market went up as well.
They did, and we'll cover that. We'll cover that as well. We'll get your first impressions on that title too as we get into the news. But before we do get there, folks, we do want to highlight an upcoming event we have here on the channel. We are celebrating our 2nd year anniversary, 2 whole years of myself, Chris, Richie and Tom bringing you Stadia content 100% of the time. for the longest running Stadia podcast this side of Google Maps and all the other shows we do here. We do want to give a little bit back to our communities, and instead of just celebrating our 2-year anniversary, we're going to be raising money for charity. So on the 2nd of October, Saturday that is, we're going to be doing a full day of streams playing all Stadia games with you, the wonderful community, and we've got some absolutely terrific giveaways as well. We've reached out to some of our developer and publisher friends. We've got some game codes and giveaways, but we've got a full schedule locked in now. So the schedule looks like this. We're going to be kickstarting the day off on Saturday the 2nd of October at 11 a.m. UK time with the Sounds of Stadia podcast live. So I think that's episode something or other. We're then going to be following that up with a play of Get Packed and Cake Bash. And the reason we've got those in there is we are giving away some game codes for those 2 titles and Fogs, of course, the 2-headed cat dog creature. Thank you, shout out to CodeSync, very, very generous for giving us those codes. So be in it with your chance to win by joining us on Saturday the 2nd. We're then going to follow up with the side quest episode. Then Richie's going to come over to my house so we can do some couch co-op games. We're going to be playing FIFA 22, not 21, 22, because that just launched the day beforehand. So we're going to have some brand new FIFA action with some hypermotion next-gen features. Then we're going to switch up from sports and kill people in Hitman. Or attempt to kill people in Hitman, depending on how that goes.
Hey, I got good. I did a live stream about getting good.
You got good. You need to shave your head, though, for that one.
Yeah.
Then we are jumping into Killer Queen Black on the evening. We don't have any codes for Killer Queen Black, but we do want to do a very special shout out to Liquid Bit Games, who've been incredibly generous, and they've donated $200 to our cause, which I've just realised halfway through the schedule I've not yet mentioned it's for what the actual charity is for.
Yeah.
I've just said the event name, date, time, and what we're doing. Yeah. It's, of course, for dementia and Alzheimer's, in working in support of the Alzheimer's Society here in the UK, helping people who unfortunately are suffering from the terrible, terrible disease. So, again, we've already raised over £100, I think. That's right. Yeah, we have done with Liquid Bit's generous donation.
We're over 200 so far.
Over £200 so far, and we're going to be raising money the whole day through, playing more games. The rest of the list you can see on screen now. We're playing Grid on the afternoon. We'd love you guys to get involved. We've got another community game of Stadia Scope, where we zoom in on a Stadia piece of art, and then we zoom out, and each round you have to vote and guess what the game title is and see who gets the most points. We've then got an exciting first look of probably one of your pro games for October, and then we're wrapping the night up with the standard stream with Rainbow Six Siege with the community. And then that's not the very end, because we're also going to go into a special after-hours stream for our friends stateside, or those in the UK and Europe who just like to stay up a little bit later into the weekend. We'll probably pop some beers open. Richie, you'll be back at home by then.
Yeah.
And we'll just play whatever games you want us to play. We'll have a chat. But again, it's all for a great cause, so we would really, really appreciate if you would follow the channel and join us. And to donate, more importantly, head over to justgiving.com/Helix Cloud Games. Any donations are generous for such a good cause. So that's the business side of things done, Richie. That's it.
It is.
That's all out of the way. Special shout out, though, we should say as well, to our members. Here at Helix Cloud Games, we do have a membership program on our YouTube channel, and if you want to support the channel a little bit extra, myself, Chris, Tom and Richie, in bringing you better Stadia quality content, reinvesting in the tech to help give you prizes and giveaways, that's all made possible by those wonderful people on the screen now who do give us all those generous donations. So shout out to Geek to Sneak and Sidnar, who most of our recent additions as well, from as little as 99p. And Richie, they also get early access to our side quest episode up to 6 days early. So if they want our content earlier, you can do so by just supporting us that little bit more. And we do reinvest. We've got our new introductions. I've got a new camera, although that was actually from my own money. We've got prize giveaways as part of the charity stream, and a bunch of other things as well. So yeah, just thank you again. I don't know if we say it often enough, but thank you to our members, our wonderful audience out there, and everyone who just watches the channel, really, because yeah, 104 episodes. Missing Tom right now as well, but he'll be back. I saw his baby yesterday as well. Cute little thing. Yeah. He's got a nice little Sounds of Stadia rep outfit as well, which I'm sure we'll see.
Was he repping it as well?
He wasn't repping it when he's there, but I'm also very wary babies are sick on a lot of things, so it's probably lost in a wash cycle somewhere. But I did hand Tom over his new T-shirt as well. So next time we see Tom, we might see him rocking a Helix Cloud bit of merch.
Talking to my brother and sister, they say basically you need a couple of outfits a day for children.
Outfits, nappies, everything. Richie, they're very much like cars. They break down frequently, and you can just never get them fixed. You just got to keep polishing them up and looking after them and taking them to the car wash. But, ladies and gentlemen, you are not here for us to talk about cars and babies. You're, of course, here for all of your weekly gaming and Stadia news rounded up, and we do have a terrific show. So, Richie, would you do me the honours of introducing us to the
Super Sexy Special Stadia Story segment, a.k.a.
The News! Lots of news this week. Can't wait to delve into it. It's been a great a couple of days, and it all kicked off, Richie, with story number 1. Some new games dropped, and it's kick-started the week with the surprise stealth drop of Darksiders 3, of all things. So we got Darksiders 2 as a pro game not too long ago, but what better way to start than a shadow drop this week? So return to an apocalyptic Earth in Darksiders 3, a hack-and-slash action adventure where players assume the role of Fury in her quest to hunt down and dispose of the 7 deadly sins. The most unpredictable, enigmatic of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Fury must succeed where many have failed to bring balance to the forces that now ravage Earth. Darksiders 3 is the long-anticipated 3rd chapter in the critically acclaimed Darksiders franchise. And I just want to add on the end there, from THQ. I just want to set that in there for the stories later in the show. But yes, Richie, Darksiders 3, you play as a new character and one of the other horsemen of the apocalypse and basically fight to, I guess, save the world, I guess. But at the same time, the world's kind of already just screwed up. What's your take on Darksiders 3?
I've never played it. For a start, I remember I've played a bit of Darksiders 2 in the past, so I've already talked about that. It reminded me almost a bit of like a Zelda clone. So if it's something like that, you're probably in for a good time. I don't really have any strong feelings either way with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've seen like the clips and stuff. I haven't checked out Darksiders 2 yet, even though I do know it's a pro game. So probably the bigger thing here is it's interesting to see that we've got number 3 following on the back of getting number 2, and I'm wondering if this is like a tactic to give us one entry and then follow up with the sequel after the fact, just to kind of whet your appetite and then give us the game. But it does come launch. It has launched with a pro discount as well, so you're going to save about £5, $6, $7 in the store right now if you do want to purchase it. But again, nice little stealth drop from THQ Nordic.
The one issue I do have with it is that traditionally the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse were war, famine, pestilence, and death. War, I think, was in Darksiders 1. Death is in Darksiders 2. So this should be famine or pestilence. Instead it's Fury.
Yeah, she might be like the long lost child of the horsemen. But if X-Men has taught us anything, they just recruit anyone. Magneto's one of them, according to...
Famine and pestilence were kind of like... Their departments were merged in the make place for Fury.
Yeah. Who were the other ones, actually? Now I'm thinking of it. I've mentioned X-Men now. Magneto was one. They had... I want to say Psylocke was the girl, and I can't think of who the other... Was Jean Grey one?
Gambit was one.
What?
I'm sure at that time.
Gambit wasn't in the movie. He might have been in the
comics.
Not,
I think he has been. I think... In the comics, there's probably been half the X-Men roster by this point.
Yeah, that is very true, yeah.
I think Archangel?
Oh, yes, that's a good one. Yeah, he is in there as well, yeah. Either way, we don't have to worry about that universe anymore. MCU is all owned by Disney. We'll get to that one. Unfortunately, Darksiders 2 is not owned by Disney, but they are owned by THQ Nordic. And like I said, we will come back to those later on in the news. But yeah, Stealth Drop, THQ Nordic, new game. Here it is. Go enjoy it. Fill your boots if you wish. Following on from that, we also got another drop as part of the community blog week this week. Story number 2, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is finally available. Join up with one Edward Kenway. The year is 1715 and pirates rule the Caribbean. They've established their own lawless republic where corruption, greediness and cruelty are commonplace. Among these outlaws is said young captain Edward Kenway. Fight for glory, earn the respect of legends like Blackbeard the pirate, but also you're also drawn into the ancient war, of course, Richie, between the assassins and the Templars. I don't know why I was going to say Templars. and destroy everything the pirates have built. I love this game. I love this game back when it came out. I didn't finish it because it was as they started to lean into the bigger open worlds, and it became a bit...
You finished the story though, didn't you?
I don't think I did. So this game, it kind of caught me in probably during like college to university years, where your interests are more going out with your friends, getting drunk, Freshers Week, and many other interests. And yeah, I think I played the Ezio games like 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations, love them. And then yeah, I think Black Flag, I enjoyed it, but I just didn't have the time in my life. I probably just started a full-time job, and yeah, I just kind of didn't play games as like to the completion rate I had. And then since I've gone back in my older age, and I've gone back and platinumed Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster, the Ezio Collection, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and all its DLC.
It feels naturally next on your list, to be honest.
It kind of does, but it's still not had a remastered version. So even the version we're getting now, it's still like an old version. Not that that should prevent me from going back, but I do distinctly remember in this game, I think it's 3 or 4 big warships, and they're like, there's a trophy for defeating all big warship, Man of Wars or whatever they're called. And I think I fought the first one, and I fought it for a good half an hour and barely put a dent in its health. And I think that made the game seem so beyond completion. I think I just backed out and went, no. But yeah, open world. This is, of course, the first game that really, really introduced the sailing mechanics and the ship and the boat. And if you've not played an Assassin's Creed game before, you've not played one in a while, this is a terrific place to start. It's got a mixture of old school and new school. It's kind of that middle ground.
If I remember, though, I don't know what it'll be like on Stadia, but I'm sure on like PlayStation, there's trophies that you can no longer achieve. I
yes,
think
multiplayer.
Were the multiplayer and online trophies?
Actually, yes. Our friend Jeff, who's a big trophy hunter, I think he stopped on Black Flag because the online trophies were nigh on impossible because you needed other people.
Yeah.
And you couldn't find them. I think Stadia stripped that out.
If Stadia stripped that out, great. But
Ubisoft Plus.
I remember hearing a couple of years ago, I think the online servers were getting like shut down for Black Flag. Which meant that if you didn't already have the platinum, you were screwed. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think there's any online component to this. But I bought it. I bought it in sale, of course. It dropped on the store with a nice little pro discount.
I've been tempted.
I think I got the gold edition as well, actually, because it was even cheaper.
Well,
yeah,
the gold edition is £1
yeah,
more.
I think that's why I went to buy the standard one, thinking I don't need the DLC. But then for the extra £1 or dollar or respective currency wherever you live, it's kind of a no-brainer for all the DLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, £12.49 currently on Pro. If you've not played it before, definitely worth it. If you've not played it in some years, still probably definitely worth it. It's still revered as one of the best, if not the best, Assassin's Creed ever.
It's one of them. I think it's worth going for the gold edition because that comes with the season pass. The season pass RRP is currently £11.99. So if you bought the original version and then later down the line you decide to buy the season pass, you're basically throwing away £11. Or you could just
pay the £1.
Yeah. But honestly, do you know what stopped me buying it this time round?
Every other game you've got in your back catalogue to play.
Every other game in my back catalogue, and also my car's in the garage, and I don't yet know how much it's going to cost. And I already own the game. I've got the PS4 version. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, if I miss this sale, doesn't matter. I can still play the game.
That is true. And you could also, you've mentioned before, you're probably contemplating signing up to Ubisoft Plus.
Eventually,
with like possibly Rainbow Six Extraction or Far Cry. We don't quite know yet. So what you need to do, Richie, Black Flag inspired, get rid of the car. You live by the coast. Hire a ship or a boat. Raise the sails. Pull the rigging. Watch out for the boon, and get out there on the open waters. Live your best pirate life. You've got the beard.
Now the problem is, I work slightly more inland than where I live.
That's just a formality.
I literally can't sail to work.
Well, get in touch with your workplace. Tell them they need to factor in how you work from home, work from the boat.
Yeah, it's like, you discriminate against people who sail to work by not having a dock.
Yeah, it's discrimination against pirates. The East India Trading Company and Orlando Bloom will be kicking off somewhere, I'm sure. But more Assassin's Creed games. Is that them all now?
We haven't got the Ezio collection.
Sorry, no, all the ones that we knew about. I meant to say. Sorry.
Yeah, we haven't got as it stands. We haven't got the Ezio collection of 3 yet. Is 3 being announced for Stadia?
No, I don't.
Because they're working backwards.
Weirdly, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft actually announce an Assassin's Creed 1 remaster, like completely remake, sorry, not remaster.
Yeah.
Because that game is a bit old. You're talking like early PlayStation 3 was the first game. And it could probably do with a bit more padding out because it wasn't very fleshed out. It was 2 that obviously elevated to the IP it is now.
2 refined the format a lot.
Definitely. And I would go back and play them. They're doing Prince of Persia.
I'd love an Assassin's Creed 1 remake.
Good old Altair. Let's get back on his storyline. But alas, I guess we should mention here, while we're talking about it, I've also just gone back this week and finished the Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC. Wrath of the Druids in Ireland. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A whole new area to explore. Similar mechanics from the first one. They introduced a new outpost system and a whole new group of crazy druids to go kill. Enjoyed that one. Did the Siege of Paris. Didn't enjoy that as much. It felt like it was a bit rushed and short. But playing them back to back, it's very easy to see the stark differences, because usually with DLC they obviously have smaller teams who work on the DLC after launch. I think I'm pretty much done now. I've got every achievement bar 1 for the mastery challenges, which I cannot be asked with trying to get gold medals for all 12 mastery challenges. I'm done. I don't need to.
That's one of the things that's put me off with Miles Morales as well. Like for the combat and stealth and in the movement challenges, like, can I be asked to grind these out until I get absolutely a perfect run?
Do you need to get perfect? You don't need to get perfect though. I think it is like bronze or something for them all.
Don't you need gold for achievements?
No, I think it's like gold, silver, bronze, and I think all it is you need at least bronze for everything. I don't think it's that harsh, because I remember I got it quite quickly as well last Christmas.
I know I had to look at the trophy list, and there was a trophy for a 100 hit combo. I was like, that's going to be tedious.
Oh, I think once you're all fully leveled up with all your power ups and stuff, I think it's not that hard to actually get to it. There's like a particular
it's one mistake,
area.
Though.
Yeah, true, but we'll let us keep us updated how you go on that one. But yes, Assassin's Creed Black Flag out now. Go fill your pirate boots, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of rum, I guess, do we have rum for this next story, Richie? That was terrible. That was terrible. Merek's Market also released the long-awaited game from the Stadia Makers program as well, in tandem with them. We've all been that adventurer throwing down bags of gold to buy swords and shields, but what about the poor souls rushing around behind the scenes, behind the shop counter, dealing with all of these strange customers? Yes. Over-the-top crafting challenges? You bet. A shop cat? Of course. Take ownership of Merek's Market as you haggle, barter, and craft your way through a comical single-player campaign, or team up with friends to supply the whole town cooperatively. Richie, you did a first look on the channel of Merek's Market, as the Yorkshireman does speak inside it. Give us your first thoughts, impressions, and tell the people out there how it plays. Will you please?
It plays a bit like Overcooked. It did actually perform really well. There's no stuttering or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it more than I expected I was going to be honest.
Okay.
It's like, it is similar to Overcooked, where you get like things come up, okay, this is the order I need to produce. Mm-hmm. Although, instead of like having just orders turn up and you sort your plates out and stick it on like a conveyor belt to go out to the customers. Yeah. The customers come into the store, slowly walk up to the counter and go, hey, this is what I want. Then you go over, you make a chair, then you walk over to the sales counter. And you get someone who come in and go, I need a potion, and then you have to haggle with them for the price. Okay.
Is that where there's like a little button combination mini game comes into play to get the right price?
That comes in for when you're actually making your sale, just as they come over to the counter, and then just this is to confirm the sale. So I think the faster you do it, the higher the tip.
Okay, so it's like
when you the more money you earn, the more stars you get for the level, that sort of thing.
So what's the challenge? Is it orders start to stack up quickly, similar to Overcooked?
Yeah. More customers come in more quickly. There's more variety of different stuff you have to make. So you start off just making maybe just like a staff, which is just a bit of wood, process it on the table. Mm-hmm. Then maybe you have to have a staff and a chair, which is a bit of wood and a bit of leather. You've got some pots, so you've got to fire them. So you get more and more things to remember.
Yeah,
as more and more customers come in.
So very similar to Overcooked. Yeah, juggling
it's
things.
Very much it's in the same genre of game as Overcooked.
What genre would you class that as if you were to give it a name?
I don't know. I think it is becoming its own genre quickly, though.
Crafting... Yeah, because there was one, if we remember, there was one that was actually on the Stadia Makers Showcase, and if you remember, it was it shrimp something? Where they were all on a shrimp boat. There were otters on a shrimp boat getting all the shrimp, and you had to catch the shrimp or cook the shrimp and sell it on. I can't remember what it was. It looked cute as anything, though.
There needs to be, like, an actual genre made up, because Stadia Source, like, put it under the arcade, indie, children and family genres. But they don't really define what the game is. Yeah,
it's a very definitive type, isn't it, of like craft.
That's not a reflection on Stadia Source, by the way. That's just...
It's just generic industry
terms, we don't have...
It's like it's like RPG covers everything.
Yeah.
But we still say RPG, even though the detail in between varies massively. We can come up with it.
RPG is one that's become... RPG elements of entered other genres. That's the way that... Yeah, we need to come up. Let us know in the comments, what do you want to name this sort of style of a game? We need a genre title for it.
I feel like it needs crafting in it, like crafting couch co-op, crafting something. But yeah, do let us know. But yes, go check out Merek's Market. It's available now, £14.99. This does strike me as a pro game. It was Stadia Makers program. Not now, of course, but I think before Christmas we could see this as a pro game. I mean, that would be the truth. But it's great to see you had a good time. And I'm glad to hear from your first look, it's got a bit more polish to it than I think a few people had initially anticipated. It runs great and it works. How is the voice acting? Being, of course, from nearby to Yorkshire in England.
It's fine. You're only really doing voice acting when you're in like the haggling scenes and between and like as they're setting up, like through tutorials and stuff. But I think once you get through the main campaign and get to the multiplayer, which is where I think the game's really going to come into its own. Good. I don't anticipate much voice acting there.
Good. I'm always wary that, similar to Watch Dogs Legion, where with like the over gratuitous nature of the Cockney accents, that because everyone in England sounds like they're from London, so not even London, like Cockney London. And I'm like, is this game going to just be constant, just berating you with Yorkshireisms? No, that's a bad thing.
It's not so much that it's going to distract from the game.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Terrific. So that's all your game news for the week relating to the information we've got from the Stadia team. They did follow up with a community blog later in the week. So story number 4, the Falconeer also got a little developer interview, actually. It's been a while since we've had a developer interview. The Falconeer Warrior Edition has been confirmed for Stadia, coming out October 5th, so at the time of listening, you've just not got too long to wait. They interviewed solo developer, so one single individual on his own, Tomas Sala, and they basically interviewed him talking about bringing it to Stadia, the type of game it is, and it's very much an open world combat game, kind of similar to, I want to say, like Panzer Dragoon, meets like an arcade style. What was the shooter called where you used to fly Spitfires and stuff? I can't remember it.
I can't remember.
It's like a very famed genre, but it's just not done anything for like 10-15 years. But yeah, within the interview, there's a couple of details they mentioned about just different types of weapons, gear, how best to approach the game, the fighting style. So go check out the interview, read the full breakdown. It's not too long. Interesting enough, that does say the Falconeer was built from the ground up to be played at 60 frames per second. And then over on Stadia, someone tweeted at them saying, "Can you confirm it's 60 frames per second?" And the Stadia team went, "Well, we cannot comment on that. It's down to the individual developer." Whereas in the interview, it actually says built from the ground up to be played at 60 frames per second. And it's, when you get
it's one of them. It's one of them weird legal things where Stadia themselves, well, we can't comment on it just in case it's not. And then you're potentially getting like misrepresentation where if in a developer interview, if the developer goes, it's built from the ground up to be 60 frames per second, that's the developer putting that on his own back, going, yes, this will be. Yeah,
it's your team as well.
It's a shame. It's just one of them weird legalities in marketing. But I would expect this to be 60 frames per second if the developer in an interview with Stadia is claiming it is.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Because there seems to be a bit of motion in the ocean over on socials at the moment about games having to be certain frame rates and certain fidelity. And for me and you, we're not that bothered. You said before you don't have a 4K screen.
Depends on the game. Yeah, for me, it depends on the game. Some games I think absolutely fine to play at 30 frames per second. Other games, I think especially in the multiplayer space, really need that 60 frames per second.
Yeah. I feel like I've only heard it really spoken about, though, in the last 2 to 3 years. It's really starting to pick up traction with it being important.
You know what I think it is? It's as we've got to the point where the quality in graphics is just so good that you're not going to see big incremental changes.
Yeah.
How the game frame rate can really change how the game plays. You've probably seen it yourself with Ghost of Tsushima. If you're playing that at 60 frames per second, it all feels a lot smoother. And if you're playing, say, a first-person shooter, the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames can be whether you get the kill or you get killed.
True. We should point out, Black Flag is 60 as well. I saw people saying it's the first Assassin's Creed game, which is ironic because it's one of the older ones.
If it's a port, was that PS3 or early PS4?
It was cross-generation. It came out on 3 and 4.
So I'm in the right era, so yeah, it's kind of probably wasn't that much effort, to be fair. If considering it's not like a remaster or a remake, it's just a port.
Oh wow, that takes me back. Now I'm thinking, I think Black Flag was one of the first PlayStation 4 games I owned. It was like Black Flag and Marvel's Lego Superheroes, and I think I bought Knack as well, Richie. But memories come flooding back. But tell you what, things that do also come back, Richie, they came from space and 8 Hour Brains. Next story of the week, the spiritual successor, which I've just realised I don't have the actual demo video up, so insert that here, Chris. You and me jumped in this Friday. It's surprise stealth dropped just from space. That's what it's called, from space. Yep. It's from Triangle Studios, the people who did make It Came From Space and 8 Hour Brains. It's very similar. Well, it's actually the exact same premise. It's the same aliens, as far as I'm aware. It's an online co-op game, though, where you team up with a squad of friends and take on the challenge of liberating Earth from a brain-hungry infestation. Explore the world, help the human resistance regain ground against the invaders, improving skills, building your arsenal of weapons, and explore every corner of this post-apocalyptic world. It's set for release in Q1 of 2020, so just after Christmas, on Steam and Stadia. So it may be one of those first on Stadia type of titles. Personally, I really enjoyed what I played of It Came From Space and 8 Hour Brains. Again, far too long of a name. However, thankfully for the second follow-up game, they've shortened it down to just From Space. Really enjoy it. It reminds me of Dead Nation. We had a first look at it. We jumped in, I think, was it Kumnar and Endeavour jumped in, if my memory serves me right? Was that right, Dave?
Was it Dave?
Was it Dave? I can't remember now.
It
might have been Dave. Yeah, it might have been Dave. I think Endeavour was in the chat. But it's more of the same. Go check it out. The demo is available right now on Stadia. No purchase necessary. You don't even need a Pro subscriber membership either. Team up, 4 people online, twin stick shooter, collect weapons, shoot goopy pink aliens, destroy the nest, and save the world. We had a great time, Richie. So much so we were actually disappointed when the demo ended.
Yeah, it was like, that's it. I mean, it is just a demo, so I think it's probably just we played through the first level and we got the end.
It's over.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
And
I'm looking forward to coming out.
We get more. Does this give you incentive to go back and check out It Came From Space and 8 Hour Brains?
It does a bit, if I can find the time for it.
I've enjoyed it just in small bites. I'd say if you ever have just 10-15 minutes here or there, jump in and play, because the levels are very they are levels, you can select, so you don't need to commit ages. You can just singly go finished it, and then check your watch and go, actually that's it, that's all the time I had. Similar to games in FIFA, you can just jump in and do 1 level, 2 level, 3 level depending on your time, and it does not take any brain power to play whatsoever. Just shoot the pink blobs and get out of there, nice and easy. But recommend it. Go check those 2 titles out. And it's nice to see another demo. We actually praised Stadia last year for their ability to drop demos. We played Humankind, we played Immortals Phoenix Rising, we played Pac-Man. Just on the click of a button, as soon as it dropped, it was available to play. And we've said Stadia is the perfect platform for demos, because the reason I don't play demos or betas and stuff on my PlayStation, for the most part, is because you still have to wait for a 20 gig, 30 gig download of the game before you can get in and test it. So it's almost too much commitment for a demo that you might not like. Whereas when it's click to play,
if it's one of them, yeah, I've got 20 minutes. Oh, there's a new demo there. I'll give it a quick look.
Just like that, straight in. So go check that out, folks. We don't actually know how long it's available for, do we? They didn't actually say. So
I don't think so, no.
Definitely keep your eyes on that. It might be as part of the library, but either way, sooner rather than later, go check it out, and we'll probably see the full game at the turn of the year. Probably a January Pro game, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
see no reason to pull the demo for it. It's not like a timed demo like where like Humankind was a case of, yeah, here you go, he's a taster while we're still working on more stuff.
Good point, yeah, it could be around for a little bit longer, but why risk it? If you're interested in it, go check it out right now. So that's it for game stories, game news on the platform. Let's dive in then, Richie, to one of the showcase events. So we've given Stadia criticism this entire year pretty much for their lack of presence, and they missed out on E3, they missed out on Summer Games Fest. PlayStation have now had another showcase showing off the likes of Wolverine, God of War, Horizon, all these new titles and stuff. What we know we're going to be playing for the foreseeable future on our other platforms. Now, we've got a whole side quest episode dedicated to this week. We're going to be talking about presence and lack thereof, we should say. But specifically this story, you and myself covered the THQ Nordic event this past Friday, where they were celebrating their 10th anniversary, bringing us all sorts of games, of course, umbrellaed by the Embracer Group, THQ are. They distinctly said beforehand there would be no time splitters here, which is the one that I'm keeping my eyes peeled for. However, we do have a lot of titles from THQ Nordic now on the Stadia platform. So we were actually in, I wouldn't say high spirits, but there was more of a chance seeing something at this showcase.
We were optimistic.
Yes, that's a good word, optimistic. And to break it down then, some of the games that were announced, should I caveat this beforehand? There were no Stadia logos, folks. The whole event came and went within half an hour.
Hashtag logo gate.
Hashtag logo gate. And there was nothing. But the games, disappointingly enough, we already have entries in the series. So a few we'll highlight then. We did see the much-rumoured Destroy All Humans 2. Reprobed, as it is called. That was the first title that was shown off. And the reason, I think, why it's more frustrating is because we've recently had Destroy All Humans 2... I can't even say the word. Destroy All Humans.
That's what I should have called it.
2.
Destroy All Humans.
All Humans. But yeah, it was recently pro-discounted. There was a THQ sale on celebrating this anniversary event. If you got the Stadia app right now, there is a banner that's explicitly is for the THQ anniversary. But then the showcase opened with, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed from Black Forest Games and no Stadia logo. So I think we should just nip this in the bud nice and early. I do honestly believe these games are going to come to the platform, the ones we're about to talk about. It's just going to be...
I agree. There's a very good chance because the ones we're going to talk about, there's already good... We know about THQ Nordic having a good relationship with Google Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Destroy All Humans. There's a good chance Destroy All Humans 2 comes.
Yeah. I think...
etc.
I think... It comes out before the end of the year, right? They did give it a release date, if I recall. I'm pretty sure it's not that far. Actually, yes, we know when it is. It's in October, because we should also point out we did reach out to the devs. We've been speaking to the development team. They sent us codes to play this, but unfortunately it was only via Steam. So we're toying with the idea of doing a first look, but we don't want to be disingenuous. And if it's not confirmed for the platform, we don't want to put it out on our channel because we are a Stadia-specific channel. So rather than show you guys something that may or may not be coming, we're going to refrain from that for the time being. But yeah, the game looks super fun. It is a remaster, remake, whatever it ends up being, reprobed in this particular case. And so we didn't see that one. We saw a bunch of other titles which I wouldn't expect to see on Stadia. Outcast 2 was shown off, Jagged Alliance 3, Expeditions Rome, which are predominantly PC titles anyway. However, yes, we would have expected to see something for from THQ regarding Destroy All Humans 2. Again, I'm under the impression it's just going to be a stealth drop. I really feel like it's just going to be one of those titles that it'll come out on all platforms and we'll get a Stadia blog update maybe like 2 or 3 days prior to it launching on PS5 and Xbox. But we'll save this for our side quest conversation. The other game which I think there is a high chance we'll be seeing was MX versus ATV Legends, which I said during the showcase, terrible naming convention. MX I'm guessing is motocross. And ATVs. What's ATV? Is that automatic transmission vehicle or something like that?
I don't know what it stands for.
It's the little quad
it's like the
bikes.
Dune buggy stuff.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
the little quad bike
bikes.
things.
Yeah.
So MX versus ATV Legends. Not really in our wheelhouse in terms of genre, Richie, but the reason is it's made by the people who did Monster Steel Jam. It's them developers, so they usually rotate between this game, or these variations game, and then Monster Steel Jam Legends, I think that was called as well. Monster Steel Jam 2 we got recently.
Is Monster Steel Jam the one that didn't have online multiplayer?
Yes, I think it was, because we were going to
do it
as a first look or a live stream, weren't we, with the community, and they didn't have it. But either way, naming conventions aside, I think because it's from the same devs, they've already got titles on Stadia, and it's that kind of genre that Stadia seems to like, those kind of like just racing off the beaten track rally games. So I think we'll see that one. They then showed Superpowers 3 and LX2, again PC predominantly. Some parts of them look great, other parts I think we specifically said Outcast looked great until we saw the protagonist. And it was just like generic video game character 101. And the gameplay then looked like generic shooter 101. And it was like, okay, maybe not so much. But then...
And they're largely both cinematic trailers as well, which I'm on record saying I'm not a fan of cinematic trailers. I want to see the game because it's the game I'm buying. I'm not buying a cutscene.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't mind a mix. I don't mind a mix of the two, but you're not going to sell me a game with just a cinematic.
Yeah. No, hopefully they shouldn't do either. The gameplay should sell it. But Expeditions Rome, I think, was probably the only other one that really piqued my interest. Obviously,
that was the one that piqued my interest the most.
Yeah. I don't think, again, it'll be coming to Stadia. We've said time and time again, I'd love to see more titles like this that are more keyboard and mouse reliant, but without it getting a PC console version, I don't think there's a chance we'll see a port.
This is an opportunity. Stuff like that, though, is an opportunity for Stadia to eat into that market a bit. It's like for predominantly console players who don't have a decent PC, but I can just play this through my Chrome browser. I'm really interested in that game.
Yeah. It would be. They're the type of relationships they should be reaching out and
I can use Direct Touch on my iPad.
Yeah. I think that controller caveat does limit a lot of these ports because the developers are probably like, we don't have time to set it up.
I think Stadia should drop that as a requirement, to be honest, and go, no, you know what? You don't have to have it, but you do have to disclose if you don't support controller.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because then you've got the argument that everyone who plays on Chromecasts and stuff won't be able to play it, and then I don't know. It just seems like it would muddy the responsibilities a little bit. But then on the flip side, PUBG doesn't support mouse and keyboard now, right? Because they dropped the servers for it.
No,
like a few months back because there was lack of players. So it's an interesting one, but we'll save that for another day. And then the final title was SpongeBob SquarePants Cosmic Shake, a new entry in the SpongeBob saga, I guess. Didn't show any gameplay footage for the title. They just showed an amazing cinematic with the cast of SpongeBob singing and rocking out with guitars, microphones, and other instruments. Again, relating to Stadia, we got SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated, and then we also got it as a pro game. So, from THQ Nordic, it's the same development team who worked on the rehydrated one, Purple Lamp Studios. And yeah, kind of guess to summarise, it was a very short showcase. It was actually missing a few things. We actually expected to see Darksiders 4. That was the big rumour.
Yeah.
And then didn't show up.
That was the one I was kind of expecting to end the showcase on. Just a tease for maybe a late 2022 or early 2023 game.
Yeah. Give us Pestilence.
Yeah.
We want Pestilence, Darksiders 4.
Yeah.
Or give us Magneto or something like that. But SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, new entry in the series, so this one isn't actually a remaster. But just, all in all, short showcase, didn't show off as much as we maybe anticipated. I think with the lack of Darksiders and the lack of Time Splitters, which is arguably their biggest IP they own, in my opinion, even though it's like probably out of date and not anyone cares about it as much as me anymore. Yeah. But the showcase kind of just ended with no Stadia logos, and again, I think it just goes back to the importance of brand representation within these events, and we'll talk about it during the side quest episode. But I'm very confident we'll see Destroy All Humans. I'm very confident we'll see SpongeBob, and I'm semi-confident we'll see the motocross Legends game, but we just don't know.
We could see some of the others as well. There's no reason why like Alex or like Outcast 2 or Jagged Alliance couldn't come. Just because the originals aren't there doesn't mean they're not coming.
True. I always like to look for that shred of like something there to latch
that
onto.
Link.
Yeah, that tangible link. Remember, I'm still a firm believer we'll see Fall Guys on Stadia because the studio who makes Fall Guys put out one other game and we saw it on Stadia like early summer. Don't think anyone bought it, barely anyone played it. I can't remember the name actually now. But because it was the only two games they'd made was that and Fall Guys. That was telling me the Fall Guys devs are testing the water for Stadia. And I feel like the summer's almost gone, Richie.
Indeed.
I tell you what. Sorry, yeah.
I'm guessing the popularity of Fall Guys has dropped off a lot now.
I know they keep doing seasons, but yeah, I think the boat has possibly been well and truly missed on that one. But while we are here in the news talking about games that are or are not coming, Richie.
Yeah.
Mafia Definitive Edition. We're almost at the year mark. As of today, Mafia Definitive Trilogy came out on other consoles on September 25th, if you've not heard me mention it already. September 25th, 2020. As of the time of recording, that was 359 days ago. And we are still yet to hear anything from Hangar 13, 2K, or Google Stadia regarding the whereabouts of this announced trilogy of games, the launch on other platforms. No mention of the game being delayed or when we might expect to see it soon. Christmas is gone. Spring is gone. Summer has now practically gone. We're at the year anniversary of this game's release everywhere else, and yet silence remains.
Yep.
Let's move on.
Well, next week we'll have actually officially passed the 1 year mark.
I am going to prep a tweet for the 25th.
1 year.
1 year, celebrating 1 year of silence. It's just a bit embarrassing at this point from all parties involved. But alas, I won't spend too much time on that because I'm sure our audience, it's becoming a bit of a thing now. We'll see. Remember, if it's a pro game, I will play it on a live stream. Will I be bitter about it? Who knows? Who knows?
You're just going to tear it to shreds, aren't you?
No, I hope it runs well for the developer's sake. If it drops after a year of silence and it runs like Ark potentially did, then there'll be conversations. Either way, next story of the week, switching pace a little bit, to another game that I want to raise some suspicions on. Now, don't get your hopes up for this, folks, but Battlefield 2042 from EA has been delayed. Not by long. Battlefield, of course, was expected in the next coming weeks, and they put a tweet out, classic video game tweet that goes out now. You put a nice background, you put the game's title, and then you put your message out in a tweet. And I'll read verbatim. We've made the decision to shift the launch of Battlefield 2042. The game will now release worldwide on November 19th, 2021. Building the next generation of Battlefield during a global pandemic has created unforeseen challenges for our development teams. Given the scale and scope of the game, we had hoped our teams would be back in our studios together as we move towards launch. With the ongoing conditions not allowing this to happen safely, and with all the hard work the teams are doing from home, we feel it's important to take that extra time to deliver on the vision of Battlefield 2042 for our players. Your enthusiasm for the game has been very inspiring. We believe in the game we're making, and we thank you very much for your patience as we put some finishing touches into the experience. Updates on the beta will be coming soon. Kind regards, Battlefield development team, DICE, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and EA Gothenburg. Now, usually, Richie, I'd let this story go.
Yeah.
Pass us by. We've had our 5 EA games, even though I don't believe that'll be the final 5. It's a bad sign for Stadia if they're getting no future EA games. However, there's one key bit of this news story that really piqued my interest, and it's piqued some people on the internet's interest. It's probably just us taking the silence and running with it, as we like to do here on a platform where we don't hear anything, so we have to make our own news up. When you give people silence to fill up the gaps. Exactly. And the reason I say it is because November 19th, Richie, is a very special date for not only us, but our Stadia community out there.
It's 2 days after my birthday.
That's it. It's 2 days after your birthday. Hopefully you'll get a new car. But no, in all seriousness, November 19th, for those who don't know, is the second birthday, or anniversary, I guess, of Google Stadia's existence. It will be 2 years old on November 19th. So, Richie,
Yeah.
will Battlefield 2042 be stealth dropped on Stadia's birthday? Yes or no?
No.
Now you ask me.
Chris, will Battlefield 2042 be stealth dropped on Stadia's birthday?
No. As well.
Okay, next topic.
No. The reason I wanted to mention that is because if you remember last year, we actually got the surprise news on October 15th. So actually, a little bit later than this, we got the news from CD Projekt Red that Cyberpunk was going to arrive on November 19th. So Google surprised us this time, actually a little bit later than this time last year, with a surprise announcement that actually Cyberpunk is coming to the platform date and date. After Cyberpunk got delayed a little, well, actually got delayed several months, and it between us, Richie, it should have been delayed a lot longer than several months. It should have been released this year rather than last Christmas, much to the chagrin of PlayStation OG owners out there. And yeah, I've seen people in the community talk about it, and I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's funny how all the planets align, and it sounds like the perfect story and the perfect thing of like, oh yes, we do have EA games. People wanted Battlefield. It's another massive game. Stadia have been really quiet. It's coming out on its birthday. I don't think we're getting it at all. Sorry, folks.
No. The thing for me is the difference between Cyberpunk and Battlefield is one, we already knew Cyberpunk was coming to the platform, we just didn't know when.
True.
And also, Cyberpunk is a single player title. This is a multiplayer title.
Yep.
If this was a single player title with multiplayer elements, I might have been leaning towards a yes. But the fact it's multiplayer, and I just don't think, unless it's going to be crossplay across the board, I don't think Stadia are going to be putting a huge amount of money into multiplayer titles at the moment because they don't have the user base to sustain them properly.
Yeah,
it's just that seems to be the reality when you see people all the time on Twitter and on Facebook and Discord servers trying to find people to play.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just the reality. However, if this game comes, do we know if it's got crossplay?
I think they've said they want it, but it's not. It won't be at launch.
If it's got global crossplay, then this can work on Stadia. But without it, it's just going to be just another lackluster experience, unfortunately. That could actually cause more harm than good, to be honest. Because if you bring a game like this to the platform and then Stadia players struggling to get a game, then Stadia's going to get a reputation. It's going to strengthen the reputation of Stadia not being a good place for multiplayer.
Right. So yeah, just to clarify as well, EA say that DICE is looking to build and test crossplay for Battlefield 2042, but it says it's a maybe at best.
Yeah.
So unless they release it, unless the delay allows them to somehow get it, I think we're still just short. We're still a whiles off getting a future where crossplay is the standard.
Yeah, I don't think we should be though nowadays. I think any multiplayer game made by a AAA developer like DICE, like EA, like Ubisoft, that should be just part of the design documents right from the beginning. This should need to be designed for crossplay.
Yeah.
You can maybe kick Sony out of the equation if they're being awkward.
Well, we know they're awkward thanks to the Epic and Apple lawsuit stuff.
But for everyone else, it should...
Yeah, standardised, yeah. One day, Richie, we will have that future one day. But pivoting away from that, let us know again in the comments below. Do you think we're getting more EA games? Do we think the 5 was it? 5 and out? What does that mean for Stadia for the end of this year and big titles like Battlefield and the like? But moving on, we've got loads of games to talk about next because our friends Nvidia over at the GeForce Now team have just had a massive leak. Richie, like a leak so big it might as well be classed as a flood risk at this point because the amount of news that's come pouring out of this past week. So basically, essentially, just to give the story in a nutshell, is some people did some data mining of GeForce Now's game list, and within that intriguing list essentially came loads of titles of games that are supposedly coming out in the future. Now, we should obviously caveat this with a pinch of salt that Nvidia have came out since and said, yes, all the news, all the information is legitimate. However, they've categorized as placeholders and testing code for their systems. However, I think this is them just trying to patch up what potentially is the biggest games news leak in history. Like, usually we get one or two things leaked from a developer said something here or there, or a bit of code gets found in an older game. I've seen Naughty Dog, they found some Uncharted stuff within the Last of Us playtest because they use the same servers for development. But never have I seen a list of just explicit title after title after title leaked. So I just want to throw some of them out there for you, Richie, and get your take on them. So to start off with, BioShock 2022 was one of the ones mentioned. Do you think that's legit? Or because we know there's a studio.
I think it's legit. It could be a remaster.
But we just got the BioShock remaster not long back for PS4.
Oh, so yeah, sorry.
But remember, they did create a new studio called, was it Cloud Factory or something? Is working on a new BioShock game.
It's possible.
I just didn't think we'd get it so soon. So I think you might be a bit closer in thinking it's some kind of next gen port, maybe.
Could be a next gen part of the BioShock.
Of the trilogy, yeah. A part of a part of a part now at this point. There was the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection coming to PC, which that did then get confirmed at the PlayStation Showcase. So that shows that the leak has some genuine material in there that was real. Helldivers 2. I really enjoyed Helldivers 1.
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect to see a sequel anytime soon because I don't think the game did that great. Horizon Forbidden West, we know about that. Gran Turismo 7. We'll avoid all the PlayStation talk. This is PC ports, and we do know PlayStation have actively said they're intending to bring titles to PC at a later date.
There's some biggies on here that's worth pointing out. Still in the PlayStation era, there's God of War, there's Demon's Souls, there's Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm. And I do think they'll end up on PC soon. So, well, not necessarily soon, but it could be years from now. But again, the Microsoft side of things, there was some leaks from there, Gears 6, Halo. But what I wanted to focus on is the games that, again, might pertain to Stadia. Square Enix had a Tomb Raider anniversary marked for 2021. Which we've seen that, right? I believe the PlayStation has Tomb Raider.
I can't remember what the detail we saw it in, but we've definitely seen something about it.
I'm sure there was a digital-only anniversary where it packaged all three games, because we covered it on the podcast saying, will we see this come to Stadia? Because there's no physical release, so it doesn't make any sense. For Capcom, though, Resident Evil 4 Remake, which I think is heavily rumoured to... They should have immediately started work after 3 Remake finished. So that's no surprise. They've done 2, they've done 3. And 4's one of the more well-revered ones, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
4 isn't usually in the best games of all time category.
So there we go. Is 4 the one in the really sepia-toned... It's in Spain or something.
I think it's the first one where the series started going a bit more action. It was like the over-the-shoulder camera.
But people liked it.
Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, in between the Take-Two news, we've got BioShock Ray Tracing Remaster, and we covered it a few episodes ago, Richie, those magical Grand Theft Auto remasters. So GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas showed up on this list. So the reason I think these are real is because there's so much evidence in here that's been corroborated by other stories that have already since came out. It's like there's almost too much truth for it to be a fake list.
Yeah. I'm going to take back what I said about BioShock 2022 being a potential remaster or next-gen port, because with an RTX remaster, that's your next-gen port right there. So the BioShock 2022
could be the same.
I think this could be a new game. I bet, prediction right here now, BioShock 2022 will be announced at the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah. So, probably announced at the Game Awards for release the following, end of the year.
For the following year.
And then Sod's Law will be pushed back to 2023 anyway, but...
Yeah.
The announcement is there, yeah. Yeah, I think that could be legit. In and amongst some EA news, we've got Mirror's Edge Ray Tracing Remaster. Untitled Respawn game, which I'm guessing is going to be the next Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That will make sense.
Likely,
Titanfall 3, that's the one got me a bit dubious. But there's nothing to say EA can't pass the Titanfall franchise off to another one of the studios. It doesn't have to be Respawn. They've got their hands full with Apex Legends and Fallen Order 2. But the
Apex
franchise
Legends
is so
might
well
be a
revered.
point. Apex Legends might be a point where there's basically going to be a splinter studio that focuses just on Apex.
Yeah, quite possibly. And they just did launch a new studio as well, actually, last month.
Yeah.
Now, this is the random stuff that makes me think why these leaks are legitimate. Is Curve Digital Human Fall Flat 2? Now, this is so random and out there that I would not expect to have ever seen a sequel for Human Fall. Human Fall Flat's a great game, super fun. We've had a great time playing it. But the fact of all of these, it's not just massive titles. It's got little ones in there. Like Human Fall Flat 2, is that random and crazy? That makes me think it's more legitimate. What else have we got? I'm trying to keep stuff very specific. Batman Arkham Knight ray tracing remaster. Again, yeah, next gen. They've done the trilogy. They've done next gen ports.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 is due to come out in November.
From Atlas, yeah.
Yeah.
And then as we go down a little bit more down the list, they've got Injustice 3, Gods Will Fall. So it actually has been usually is it NetherRealms who do Injustice? And Mortal Kombat, they usually rotate cycles between the DC game and Mortal Kombat.
There's one I've just seen that makes me question things, and that's Mario and Rabbids. I really can't see Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle on anything other than a Nintendo platform.
Does it say what platform it's on, though, the leak?
Well, this is for the GeForce Now, isn't it?
Oh, right, yes. It is Ubisoft, though.
The entire list is Ubisoft, but it's also Nintendo. Nintendo own Mario, so that's a hard fight.
Yeah. Unless that's them finally testing the waters, putting it on PC. Because Nintendo don't have anything to do with PC, do they? It's such a big... Imagine if they ported all of the Mario games to PC. That's such a market they're missing out on.
They might have actually just looked at how Sony are doing it and gone, you know what? That makes sense. We could do it.
We'll take select titles.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. It is, yeah. Other stuff in there. Sniper Elite 5. Yeah. I'm no surprise that Rebellion will be working on another Sniper Elite game. And then as we drill down a little bit, Crash Team Racing for PC. Seems like that could happen. Fight for Middle-earth, which has me intrigued. We know Warner Brothers Monolith haven't done anything since Shadow of War. So I'm expecting a third entry in that series. So Shadow of War, Fight for Middle-earth, that sounds like a legit title in game that could be a thing.
Fight for Middle-earth makes me think of Battle for Middle-earth.
Ooh, I'd take that any day. And then in between these, what else have we got? Hangar 13 unannounced game. I wonder if it's a Mafia game, Hangar 13. I wonder if it could possibly be. Don't get me started. And a bunch of other titles as well. But again, it's a full list. Go check it out. It's on Reddit. There's a whole breakdown list. But remember, this was garnered from a data mining thing. So all of the words and the codes has there. And do remember, Nvidia have came out and said the list is genuine. They've just kind of tried to patch it up by saying, "Oh, we put placeholders and fake names in place for future testing and stuff." But I feel like you would just use code words for that.
Well, if this is just an internal list, that's why some things like Final Fantasy 16 is just FF space 16, where Final Fantasy 7 remake is FF7 remake. There's a little quirks that it's just an internal list that people are just adding to, different people adding different stuff.
Yeah.
We never actually mentioned the Final Fantasy 9 remake. Actually, that's an interesting one.
I don't know the order of them all, so I just glossed over that one.
Well, they're numbered, so.
No, I meant whether it was already out or not. I don't have any the numbers.
Not to my knowledge, not a remake.
So the other kind of final bit that really does is the Microsoft list of games. I know we skimmed over them. Microsoft, cleverly enough, put their titles under project names. So on the Microsoft list, they had Project Holland, Project Typhoon, and Project Woodstock. So guess what? If these lists leak, nobody knows what the games are anyway. However, it's been collaborated by a Microsoft employee over on Twitter that Project Holland is in fact the new Fable game, Project Typhoon is in fact the new Contraband game, and Project Woodstock is Forza. So
we don't know how long when this list was originally compiled either. So things like Project Holland, that's a new Fable game, but maybe they're not putting Fable on anything.
Yeah.
You knocked up maybe Microsoft saying you're not allowed to put the word Fable on anything you're doing in Nvidia until we've announced the game.
Yeah, but interesting nonetheless. I just wanted to bring it up in this show because it kind of corroborates the Grand Theft Auto rumours and remasters that hopefully, like, if we get 3 Grand Theft Auto games by the end of the year, I think that's a good get. If we get some Bioshock news, that's a good get. And I think all the little games like Human Fall Flat 2, I'll take that right now. If we get some news on Jedi Fallen Order 2, that'd be great. Yeah.
This, if you're a fan of GeForce Now, this is a phenomenal list of games.
Yes.
You're getting Sony exclusive, Microsoft exclusives, like stuff from Square, and like things like Final Fantasy VII Remake is currently exclusive to PS4, PS5. It's just, that's a huge list of stuff.
Yeah.
You're getting stuff that I wouldn't expect, like Shin Megami Tensei. That's something I'd kind of expect to just see on the PlayStation.
Certainly. But don't forget Human Fall Flat, Richie.
Yeah, Human
That's
Fall
where it's
Flat.
at. That's, of all the games, that's probably the only one we might see on the platform. Human Fall Flat.
I don't know, might get Half-Life 2.
No, I don't think. I think, unfortunately, out of that full list is until somebody comes out and tells us otherwise. It's still just playing the guessing game and the waiting game, unfortunately. Just like our next story of the week, a lot of you out there are probably waiting for a specific email to come through from the Stadia team. The reason I mention this is because Twitter over the last weekend has exploded into loads of people posting screenshots about a very specific email coming from Stadia. And it's been covered from our friends over at Stadia Source. But essentially, if you cancelled your Stadia Pro subscription, people have been receiving emails with a little message that says, "A surprise gift for you. Curious to see what you've been missing? Come back to Stadia Pro and score Stadia Premier Edition, a Stadia controller, and a Google Chromecast Ultra on us. Shipping charges may apply." So basically, Richie, everyone...
Another thing Stadia stealth drop.
It's a stealth, yeah, indeed. Essentially, if you've cancelled your Pro subscription, you've not had a Pro subscription for some time, the Stadia email team or the marketing permissions team are sending out arguably just more free Premier editions for signing back up to Pro. So my guess is the stipulation is you click the icon on the email that says sign up now, you resub to Pro, and you'll get a confirmation email. I think it says somewhere up to 3 days later in the terms and conditions, giving you your discount code to go to the Stadia store, or the Google store we should say, and bonk it on the head, and you get it for free. Now, the reason it's in the news specifically for us, Richie, how long have you been subscribed to Stadia Pro out of interest?
Day one.
So at this point, coming up on just short of 2 years, right?
Proof of my founder for all your listeners and hold up my Pro control, my Midnight Blue one.
So you've been a founder for nearly 2 years.
Yes.
I also have been a Stadia founder for nearly 2 years. Never cancelled once. Got all the games, claimed them all. What do you get?
Nothing.
Same here. And it may sound bitter, but quite frankly, as a paying customer for nearly 2 years, albeit I've got my discounts here and there, like I signed up to that Lenovo Discord server to get 3 months free, haha. Everyone tried it.
We gamed the system a bit there.
Yeah, but that's their own marketing choice. However, how does it sit with you, Richie, that you would reward someone who's actively cancelled their subscription and left your service by giving them a arguably £90 worth of equipment for coming back? Does that sound a bit odd way of doing it?
For me, it depends on... There's probably a lot of players out there who are not subscribed to Stadia Pro, who just buy the games as they come. And for them, it's like, I don't mind for them at all.
Yeah.
They are as active as me and you.
Yes.
For people, I think there's a lot of people out there who probably tried it, didn't like it, and then get an email and, I fancy a new Chromecast. Or I bet, I've got a feeling there's a lot of these going to end up on eBay. Yeah,
eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, of all places. But I do hope, part of me hopes that there's some statistics that they have for... Obviously, not everybody's probably going to get this email. It's probably going to be a select list of people. I'm hoping the criteria is you've cancelled your Pro subscription, but you've still actively been playing Stadia. You've still purchased some games, you've still put so many hours into the platform, and then therefore they're simply going, right, this is our demographic who they're still playing the games, we just want them to be on a monthly subscription again. So let's tease them back in, buy another Pro controller, and hopefully they'll keep the subscription. If this is just, he's a freebie for Joe Bloggs who's cancelled and not played Stadia at all for 6-7 months, he's £90. He's another Chromecast Ultra. Although the Chromecast Ultras are defunct, it's just kind of a bit of a kick.
It still works.
It's just kind of it's still great tech. It still works, but it's still just a bit of a kick in the teeth for rewarding people who, arguably, some would say, don't deserve the reward.
For me, I think there's two things I can see. One, I think they're trying to get rid of what's left of the Premier Edition, so they can move people onto the new Google Chromecast with TV, whatever they want to call it. That, and also to get people to resubscribe. But I've got a feeling, though, you'll get a lot of people resubscribe for 1 month to get the hardware and then unsubscribe.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get more people subscribed to Stadia Pro, you need to actually increase the value of the offering in people's minds. And I think a big part of it is I like indie games, but I think there's a lot of people out there who don't care at all for indie games and see that's all you get.
Yeah. Why would I subscribe for a handful of this and that? But we just wanted to bring it up because I'm sure many of you out there are Pro subscribers. Some of you probably aren't, but you still play the console platform. Just let us know how you approach this. My guess, or my hope, is that as Pro subscribers, we're due for some kind of reward. I guess we get Pro discounts, right? But we are paying monthly, so
I think it'd be nice for them to acknowledge long-term founders.
Richie,
founders who are still active in some way.
You've got your own special blog page on the community forums. Don't forget the Founders Hub.
Yeah.
You've what? That's what you get. No, again, not that it's weird. It sounds like we're owed something. I think it doesn't. We're not. It's the fact that people who aren't paying are getting free. Like, I don't need another Premier Edition. I've got 3 of them now, and I'm sure there's plenty of people in the community who've got stacks on stacks on stacks of them. No pun intended, actually. In their homes, it's just kind of like, why reward them? Like, do another promotion instead. If you buy Darksiders 3, get a Premier Edition. If you buy...
Yeah, I think that, for me, that's a better way to go to entice people. It's like, you have to get Stadia Pro. If you're a Stadia Pro member and you pay and you buy this game, we'll give you a Premier Edition.
Richie, what game comes out in 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks. Biggest game of the year for a lot of people. The only game of the year they'll play. Football.
FIFA, yeah.
Take these Premier Editions, bundle them with FIFA like you did with Resident Evil, like you did with Cyberpunk, and take a big AAA title that is going to sell shed tons on all platforms, and bundle it with Pro.
Don't send an email stealth dropping this thing. Shout it from the bloody rooftops. That's one that can get people in. Go, you know what? I'm going to give Stadia... I'm thinking about buying a PS5, but I can't really afford it. I'm going to give the Stadia thing a go.
Can't get your hands on it, let alone afford it.
Yeah.
So we know there's these. Yeah, I think that would be a much. Again, we still might see this promotion, but yes, I would 100% rather people who've never played Stadia before pick up FIFA, pick up this free Premier Edition, and try out the platform, as opposed to Joe Bloggs who's not bought a game or played it in 6 months gets an email saying, "Oh, do you want another free Chromecast Ultra package to sell on eBay or Marketplace?" Yes, that does not benefit the ecosystem. Chances are they're not going to come back for that long if they've left already.
We have friends who probably would buy FIFA on Stadia if it came with a Premier Edition.
Yeah, I think we do. I would agree with that. But let us know your thoughts below, ladies and gentlemen, on this Pro giveaway. Right, rounding down the episode this week, not many more stories. Little short one here. Digital Bros opens up a new studio called Nesting Games, and the reason I bring it up is it's made by ex-Ubisoft developers. It's opened up in Quebec. It's founded by Frederic Brassard and a couple of other people of Ubisoft fame. They've worked on titles like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty and Borderlands in the past, and they've came up with a statement saying that they're going to go back to creating RPGs that are focused on immersion, great characters, powerful storytelling and strong gameplay. We're moving away from massive open world model full of icons to clean up and return to experiences that are content driven and ultimately respect the player's time. So almost like almost a bit of a shot towards the Ubisoft style games.
basically, reading between lines, we're sick of just putting random stuff on a map just for the sake of expanding, putting more stuff on the map.
Yeah, looking at you, Far Cry 6. And then finally, the wrap up by saying, whether you play our games for 30 minutes or a 2-hour session, you'll always get something interesting and content that is gratifying and gives you a good experience. So we probably won't see anything from these for a while. We don't know if it's Stadia related, but again, it's Ubisoft links. So I always think that there's some cross pollination there potentially.
A new development studio working on AAA titles is always a good thing.
Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. It's always good.
More games for everyone.
That's it. More games to play. Final 2 stories of the week. We've got another update on Stadia VR. So it was noticed this week that on the jobs listings board, they had a couple of new job offers going up, which, again, future-proofs that Stadia is not going anywhere if they're hiring people to fill these vacancies and these roles. There was a job posting for a staff software development in development services. There is an engineering manager, part of the client software and development kit team for Stadia, the engineering manager for front-end Stadia, and Stadia Discovery as well. You can see the job listings. They're up on the website right now. But essentially, all of those job listings had one thing in common, and that was the introduction of that we want it as under preferred qualifications as virtual reality experience developers and engineers. Now, the video I've got shown as Google Daydream, of course. That existed for mobile phones back in the day and launched with a Pixel. Richie, you and me have said on the show many, many times that VR via the cloud massively alleviates the processor stress on your mobile device. It stops it from getting red hot, and it just, similar to Netflix, it runs by streaming, so it doesn't put your phone under any stress or pressure.
I think one of the biggest drawbacks for VR is you already have to have a console or PC powerful enough to use it, and then you have to buy a very expensive peripheral on top of that to play games which are typically not to the same standard as most AAA titles. There's some obvious exceptions. I think Half-Life Alyx is generally considered to be one of them. Resident Evil 7?
Biohazard was VR.
There's I just couldn't remember the number for a second there. But yeah, there's a couple out there. But if you're now going, oh, wait a sec, I don't have to buy the console to play this, like Stadia, for example, it's free at the point of access. All I need to do is buy a peripheral. That makes it much more enticing.
Yeah.
If you're interested in VR gaming.
Yeah, it certainly does. And we've mentioned it before, obviously, Nvidia have their own Cloud XR set up for cloud streaming. Google and Nvidia have paired together in the last few weeks to work on Cloud VR. Google Cloud, it wasn't specific for Stadia, but we I think theorised 4 or 5 episodes back about the implications it could have, and we went a bit more in depth. But we theorised this like way back in like episode like 12 or 13 of the podcast that yes, cloud and it just lends itself to VR so well. And we know Facebook have got Facebook VR starting up, and obviously PlayStation VR 2 has been confirmed. There's, ironically, weirdly enough, there's only seems to be Microsoft who haven't showcased anything to do with VR yet. But
Nintendo?
They had the cardboard VR, remember?
Oh, God.
Where you put your Switch in and again, I don't know if they do cloud, but yeah. But in terms of Microsoft, I would have thought they would have lent into it a little bit more. So we'll keep our eyes on this one. I do think with the job listings, nothing will actually come to fruition for many, many years yet. So I wouldn't get too caught up on this.
It depends, because Google already have a base for VR. If they can get some VR titles working on Stadia as Stadia the back end, then it might not be as far off as we think. Because they already have Google Cardboard.
Ooh.
So I know it's not ideal, but if you're just going, oh, you know what, I'm going to use my phone as my VR device, connect my Stadia controller to that, stick it in my Google Cardboard, you're there. And basically, you could potentially use like third-party VR devices.
Yeah,
they're just playing it through Stadia.
I mean, like you said there, we actually have Resident Evil on the platform. We've got Superhot on the platform, which are VR titles as well on other platforms. But well, I guess we'll see. Keep an eye on this one. Very interesting stuff. Something we also may keep an eye on, Richie. Last story of the week from Ubisoft. I thought we'd just throw this in there as a nice little fun one to round out the show. Everyone remembers the Driver series, right? The much-loved action driving game. they're making a live-action TV show, Richie, in partnership with, or was it in partnership with, where's it at? Binge. It's a streaming service called Binge. Never heard of it prior to this article. It's exclusive to Binge, so you won't be seeing it on Netflix or Amazon or anything else. Was anybody asking for this?
Probably not, but Binge is apparently a new service that's comes out next year. And on their website, they claim, get ready for the future of gaming entertainment.
So is it a gaming-centric streaming TV?
It seems to be. They're claiming it's going to be subscription-free.
Okay.
So it might be a pay-as-you-play sort of situation.
All right, so let's...
This was announced... It's actually announced at E3 2021.
Was it?
We probably briefly mentioned it at some point.
Probably passed over. It does say, all devices and game consoles as well will have it. My guess is that they're just going to pull any video game related shows and TV and put it on this platform. So if you're a gamer and you like Driver, maybe the Doom movie featuring The Rock, and maybe I'm trying to think of like other license, the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender, they go on this platform, I guess.
2024 gets cancelled. The service. It
gets merged into something else.
Binge is bought out by Amazon Prime or something.
Something like that.
If it does, it's either that's the way I see this going. Either a bigger player like a Netflix and Amazon or Hulu or whoever purchases it if it does well, and if it doesn't do well, it's just gone.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the Driver games. I remember playing Driver 2 distinctly over Christmas, where it's in Cuba. Or Havana, maybe. But yeah, it might be in Havana. And you could get out the car. I remember my camera is just having one today. It just keeps focusing in and out all the time. Apologies, visual.
There must be something behind you. It's trying to grab the phones.
It's probably the Pac-Man ghost. Every time it changes colour, it might throw it off kilter. I'll have to lock it in for next week. But either way, folks, Driver TV series. We might see the protagonist a bit more. We might do some skids in an underground car park and get chased by the police. But we'll have to wait until all that happens. This has been the Sounds of Stadia podcast, episode 104. Thank you very, very much for your time today, for tuning in, listening, however you consume our content. If you haven't done so already, do give the video a like. It helps us mix up that Stadia Google search algorithm and lets other people out there who are fans of Stadia and our content hopefully discover and find us and watch us a little bit more to help the channel grow and help us reinvest and bring you more Stadia content. Don't forget, as we do round out the show, to follow us for our celebration stream coming on October 2nd, Saturday that is, in support of the Alzheimer's Society. We of course are raising money for Alzheimer's and dementia support and awareness to hopefully cure that for our futures. And we're kicking the day off with the Sounds of Stadia podcast live at 11 o'clock GMT, or British. It'll still be British summertime, right? Yeah, it'll still be UK time. You know what it is. 11 a.m. in the morning, followed by some Let's Plays, some games, giving away codes. We've got a Google Nest speaker to give away as well, so we've got some physical things for those in the UK. We're going to have a side quest episode. We're going to be playing FIFA 22 with you, the community. Come verse me and Richie on the Field of Dreams. Hitman, Killer Queen Black. Again, shout out to Liquidbit Games, donated $200 to our cause already to kickstart our campaign of raising money. Thank you very much.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Thank you. She's happy. She's excited for it.
You need to turn the microphone off.
I know, but then I forget to turn it on, and then when I need it, it gets in the way. We're going to be playing a mini game with you people. We'll be having some beers. We'll be having some drinks. So do come along and celebrate not only raising money for such a great cause, but also our 2nd year anniversary. We've been doing this for nearly 2 whole years, and we wouldn't do it without your amazing love and support. So check out the channel for that, and a special doubly shout out to our members as well over on the Helix Cloud Games Membership Club channel. There's over 50 of you in there. Thank you for your additional support. You get our side quest episode up to 6 days early, along with special emojis, videos that are exclusive for you in the chat, and side quests. This week, Richie, we're talking about... will there be a Stadia showcase in 2021? Because we haven't had one yet. Indeed, it's a topic that's reasonably on everybody's tongues, because now THQ Nordic have gone without a mention of Stadia. E3's passed by, Summer Game Fest has gone, and all we got was Ubisoft. They're the only ones who actively spoke about this platform that's now nearly 2 years old, that we've done over 100 episodes of a podcast about. Yeah. someone over there needs to shake the tree and get the games to drop out. So let's go talk about it. We're going to be talking about key dates in Stadia's past and what this means for the future. That's 6 days early access for our members. Click join below on the YouTube video if you want access to that right now. If not, you'll have to wait till Friday when it drops on free feeds. Other than that, thank you very much for your time today, folks. Hope you have a great week of gaming. Enjoy, have fun, and we'll see you next week. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
We've been Sounds of Stadia. Game on.
From space.
From space.